have called for execution. That's what they have in mind for some of those protesters. There's talk within the Islamic regime in Iran that some of the opposition should be killed. Their crackdown on demonstrators growing even more violent, if you can imagine that. So can the opposition withstand all of this? Will the Iranian youth continue to fight for their freedom? Ali Salehi is a UCLA scholar and talks frequently with his own former students and friends and family in Iran. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. First of all, what are you hearing out of them as the numbers are starting to kind of dwindle when you look at some of the video, well, the limited video that we've seen coming out of there? Is the movement kind of getting crushed, or will it survive?
Thanks for having me first off, Harris. I wanted to start by answering your question. Yes, it is something of a transition, but it's too much has passed right now for anyone to forget what's happened. You're going to see lots of different uprisings, maybe with small mitigations. But what I'm hearing from Iran right now is that the people are asking for Obama to come and help. In Iran right now, Obama is a really big hero, and I think up until this point, he's done a great job. I think I'm allowed to say that on Fox, but hopefully if so. He's done a great job, but as of now, it's a game changer, especially with what's happened with these executions that they're going to say. All these people are healing right now in these hospitals who are supposed to come out. They're saying they're going to hang them and kill them. This is a big game changer because you're talking about a small genocide of sorts. And in essence, what's happening is they come and they say they're a peaceful regime. And they are a peaceful regime. They have pieces of shrapnel in all the protesters' skin. They have pieces of hopes and dreams of the people that they've taken apart. And the biggest April Fool's joke has been this one. It should be a Guinness Book of World Record, because on April 1st, 1979, these guys were instated. And the joke's really on all of us.
Ali, I know you had a couple of rehearsed pieces there with your pieces comment. My question for you, though, is, and you say people are calling for Obama to help out. Mousavi himself has said that the United States is meddling, and that's how this whole thing started, with Mousavi calling for the people to come out and protest this election. So what is this about now? Why are they in the streets now? Is it for him? Is it for their own freedom? What is it about?
It's for their own freedom. It's for the change of a prosperous time, a new regime. The whole issue with Obama not meddling was in regards to the elections. And he never even mentioned the elections. Even during the election or after the election, he didn't do any of that. But when it comes to human rights and people being killed, and now you're talking about mass executions, that's something that as a democratic nation, we can't stand by and say nothing and do nothing. There's lots of things that can be done. We can put pressure on the United Nations. We can put pressure on the European Union. We can put pressure on countries like India that Iran is using for their refineries, because we don't have much capability in Iran for that purpose. And once that dries down, then they're going to be thirsty. Iran's own people are thirsty, while its most valuable fluid is fueling others.
Ali, what are your own former students telling you about the violence there? We've heard so many horrible stories. What's some of the truth that you can at least feel like you have good sources on the ground about?
It's amazing. I mean, right now everyone is doing this hide-and-seek thing. They're behind, and then they come out in these spurts, and then they come out because they've become so violent. I've gotten reports that, these plainclothes officers, instead of carrying sticks, are now carrying axes on the back of their motorcycles, and they're just hacking into people's chests. Just the other day, they came out and said that if you want to collect the body of one of your protesters, it's going to cost you $3,000, because that's how much we've invested in killing them. Students are telling you, because we see things on Twitter. I follow Twitter quite a lot. I'm kind of addicted to it. But the problem with the tweets that you have is that you have nowhere to verify them. You have no way to know if they're all true. So this is something that your own students, your former students, are telling you from UCLA. Sure. My own students and my own family, they're involved. Even ever since this whole thing has happened, we've had people come by the homes and make sure everyone's under control. They've been cracking down on everything. I mean, they will take you, they will stop at nothing, even if you're wearing a little bit of lipstick on your face. And they want to and it's kind of slow. They'll take you and they'll make sure to wipe it down, and they'll hit you and they'll try to burn a lesson into you. The fact is that regarding this whole thing with Obama, I think there can be a big speech given, kind of like a Reagan-esque era speech, because these mullahs have erected an entire wall.
So now they want a whole speech from him. They want a whole speech from our president. They don't just want him to come out and say
they look at him. They look at him like they're his president. They call him Ubamas instead of Obama. It means he's with us. And his name Hossein is one of the most popular names in Iran. It's a Persian name. They really relate to the guy. They really relate to the guy, and they're looking. And these guys have erected this entire wall of corruption that they want to hang all these people from this wall.
Very interesting.
And we need a Reagan-esque type thing. That someone comes and say, Mr. Khamenei, bring down that wall. That's what they're looking for.
You have given us a new word, Ubama. I'm going to look for that on Twitter. Thank you so very much for joining us.
By the way, there's a big protest in Los Angeles at 2 p.m. in front of the Federal Building as part of what the movement is here in America to support them.
All right. You got